grass and all the mess that's up front, and all the lines and the yellow markers. What does that mean, Mike, please?
When you see a line or a marker, that means the locate people came there and said, there's a gas line, or there's a water line, or a sewer line. I don't know what yellow versus any of the other colors actually mean. Not my job, never had to know that.
But what does that mean as far as them working?
It means there's something underground.
So is the work going to stop?
We may, depending, see, part we didn't get to, is we're gonna do the swale, we're gonna do the berm, all the rest of it's gonna get done. When it's complete, we'll go in and dig test holes up towards the front and see if in fact the gas line is on top of our outfall pipe, or if they're side by side or what. Because the locate people have been wrong 3 out of 3 the last 3 years. We've had our water line get broken, the gas line get broken, and the sewer line. So, shoot.
Question. If we can't go any further, is that going to not be approved by the city then?
I'm told the city will have no problem. I have not spoken to them personally, so I'm strictly repeating what I'm told.
So these men are all done with the job?
No,
They are not?
no. They're
Okay.
moving out to the swale, which is the ditch at the end of your street where the water drains back to the ponds. Yeah, the south end. So the next thing will be the swale gets done, then we're gonna take the excavated material from the swale and use that to raise the berm up to the required 20.5 feet. So if we cannot do for some reason, in case the gas line is directly on top of our outfall pipe, and we cannot do it, then we save $42,000 and change.
You know what I'm very concerned about is a hurricane coming, and those fences that have no protection of trees or anything.
Charlotte, those trees didn't protect that fence at all. Blew down every time.
Well, they did for years, Mike.
And they're not our fence. They're not our fence.
Pardon me?
They're not our fence.
I know they are not, but the trees
But Charlotte, I've seen
save
those.
the fence from coming into my house,
Oh, I
blowing
understand now.
into, you know what I mean?
And
When a
it
hurricane
beautifies the entrance. It's nice to have those trees
The trees
along
are
the
there
side
to
there.
stay.
Approximately how much of the pipe will not be replaced now?
I don't have an honest answer because we will not know that until we come out and dig test holes.
Okay, right now they're done with what they're gonna do until they dig the test holes. How much of the pipe that's in the ground is still the old pipe?
Jim, I don't know the honest answer to that off the top of my head.
Okay.
He was here last month and spoke. I don't remember
He
the exact
never-
numbers.
No, he didn't. I emailed him and never got a response, so.
I don't remember if the pipe itself from
Right.
where it's not been repaired
Right.
and replaced. As I understand it, it all works and it's functioning.
Right, but I'm just saying.
So that's the good news.
The original contract was to replace all that pipe down the side, correct, Mike?
Down to the manhole at Croton Road.
At what?
To the manhole at Croton Road,
At Croton Road, this side of Croton Road.
our side.
Right, okay, so,
There's no way we can cross Croton.
understand, so right now, we don't know, I know that they went all the way to the pond, we don't know how far that they've gone towards Croton with the new pipe right now,
If
correct?
you go down to the bulletin board, it's a little bit east of that.
Oh, okay, all right.
But since I didn't know the
Approximately, it sounds like
exact,
about 2/3.
it's more than.
Roughly, okay,
I
roughly.
don't know the exact number.
Yeah, roughly, it sounds like a little bit, maybe 3/4, how's that sound, you know?
Good
If they got to
number.
the bulletin board, that's a street and a half from the end of the subdivision, almost 2 streets from the end of the subdivision, so.
Like I said, it's a little bit east of the bulletin board. So that's where we're at with that for the moment. I'm in the process of, I've gotten 1. I'm waiting on 2. I'm having a hard time getting a 3rd person to even want to look at it. But because the berm is going to be raised higher with the excavated material from the swale, it's going to be relatively loose once it gets put in position. But there's not much you can do about it. You can't drive a roller over there and roll it. You may be able to use a hand-operated tamper. Don't know, not my thing. But I'm looking into hydro seeding companies for those that aren't familiar with that, that's where you may have seen it done on the side of 95 or any highway where you're from. They squirt that green stuff out. It's a combination of mulch, fertilizer, and grass seed. And when it rains on it, then it grows, it stays in place. We'll use the hay of grass, since it won't get be mowed. The advantage there is the taller you let the grass get, the deeper the roots go. So the better job it'll do of preventing erosion.
Are we ever going to get the water, what is it called, the
You mean
irrigation?
the irrigation system?
Yes. Our grasses were very good when we had that.
What I've been thinking, and obviously not my decision to make, but if we were to in fact to save $42,000, that would give us the money to repair all that irrigation system, because none of that stuff has worked in several years.
Where's the irrigation system at?
At the end of your street, if you look over where there's dirt right now, you'll see that little green top structure.
Oh, yeah.
That's an irrigation pump.
Okay, and what does that feed? Where does it go?
I'd be lying if I told you exactly where I knew it fed. I would imagine those mostly feed on the north side of Tree Line.
And those little boxes,
Okay.
they're the irrigation.
They're the irrigation pumps.
Why can't they fix some of those that are blowing all over the place? This last windstorm we had, the one right in between,
We've had one done, and the guy's looking into trying to make sure he can match.
this is blowing like crazy, Mike.
Okay, I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay, I'm
We've done
listening.
one, and we have someone looking into doing some more.
Can we talk about the pipe real quick? First of all, I want to congratulate you guys for surpassing all previous boards for incompetence and wasting all the homeowners' money. You've done a great job of that.
Thank
What bothers me about this from the very beginning with this pipe, and I told you guys many times that replacing the pipe will not do anything substantial to Cedar Run and its community. Now what surprises me is that magically this pipe that's 40 feet from the other side, because you know we all know that it was put in the 1980s, and metal deteriorates, you know, from one side of Crone Road to Tree Line at pretty much the same rate. But magically, this 40 feet is going to be in pristine condition, and we're not going to have to replace it, which goes back to my original.
Nobody said
that-
it was in pristine condition.
Right, but
So
my
it's
my
functioning.
point was that this pipe should have never been replaced because it serves no purpose, which we are going to find out, because if anybody has gone to the end of the pipe, just like I've gone to the end of the pipe prior to this supposedly fix, it's acting in the exact same way it did 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. We just spent $200 and something thousand to do basically nothing to improve that situation, and now magically we're not going to have to replace, and I probably won't. I almost put money on it if I was a betting man. But now we can't find where these gas lines, because it's too difficult, that we're not going to replace the other 40, which we would have never had to do from the very beginning with the other 600 feet. But again, I just want to congratulate you guys. Not all of you. There are some on the board that actually were trying to fight this, but you know, you did it again. I thought previous boards were bad, but gosh, you guys win the cake this time.
I've got a question regarding, you said we might save up to $42,000.
1 minute, Dick, I'd like to respond.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Dean, I appreciate your appreciation, but where you're wrong is the two places that we know the pipe was leaking were both at the seat of one of the manholes. When the manholes were put in and the pipe was connected to them with concrete, they partially blocked up the outfall pipe, and what caused the failure at those couple of spots was the water could not get past them, they just sat there. And if you completely submerge iron, steel, take your pick in water, it lasts much longer than if you put it somewhere where there's water sitting there with air and communication. And I'm told that's what caused the 2 sinkholes that we had. I don't know. I mean, I only know what I'm told about this.
Well, you could have gone and taken pictures of the pipe when they pulled it out, and you could have seen
Well,
right there, the
all I-
actual pipe when they pulled it out, what condition it was.
That
Which
pipe
goes,
was piled up down at the end of.
oh,
tree
it
line.
was taken out, you could have watched it, yeah, I took pictures. But
all I did was I sat home.
what's interesting is, like you're saying, if that were the case, then we should have just fixed those pieces, and that would have cost us a lot less money than
That
doing the
was done
whole pipe.
multiple times when Bruce was president. It didn't solve any problem.
What didn't solve any problem?
Replacing sections of pipe.
Why? What was happening? What was?
We got 2 more sinkholes after we
Okay,
fixed the first 2.
okay, the sinkholes, I understand the sinkholes, which you couldn't fill, but what was happening with the pipe? What's the purpose of the pipe, first of all?
The reason the sinkholes showed
Wait,
up-
what's the purpose of the pipe?
Let me finish, I let you finish.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason the pipe failed is the water sat in it, and that's what caused the sinkholes.
Okay. Okay, so the pipe failed, you said it failed. How does it work?
It sits there and water runs downhill out the road.
That's how it works.
That's how any pipe works, if you're draining something.
And that's how it works right now.
If the water at the pond were to get high enough, yes.
Okay, how is the water flowing right now as we speak?
There is no water flowing because the pond's not
Oh,
high
you
enough.
have not been there then, have you? You have not been there today. You haven't been there yesterday. You haven't been there when it rains. You see, you don't even know because I have video of it. I can show you a video. I can show you right now.
3 minutes is up to that.
We can actually go to the pipe right now and see it for ourselves. That water is not flowing upwards. It's flowing towards the pond.
It's not flowing at all.
Okay.
Mike, on the
Next time it rains, ladies and gentlemen, please visit the pipe. You'll see for your own
drainage,
eyes.
is the contractor, when he's done, will he verify that the pipe is
Dumbasses.
functioning?
Okay.
With maybe
The city,
the city will verify it?
we've got to have the city agree that it's complete to
So
their
he's
satisfaction.
got permits pulled and everything?
There are no permits, the city does not require anything.
So what standard are they working to then? A city standard?
Well, again, you're asking a question that I have not directly asked them, but the city approved what we're doing. We have written approval from them to proceed to do it,
Okay.
but they also said we're not going to require permits.
Are you kidding me? We have to request a permit to put up a fence in our front yard, and we're doing major renovation, and the city's saying we don't need a permit?
The city did not require.
Oh
a
my
permit.
gosh.
Feel free to check it out for yourself.
Just
Well, it goes to show, again, how corrupt this is.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
May I
Sure.
ask a question?
I'm just asking a question.
A good question. Are you have any background in percolation engineering?
Yeah,
drainage?
I went to high school, I went to college, I learned a few things. When I
Okay.
went to school in 1980,
Okay, but
in high
wait a
school,
minute.
I actually
Sir,
learned
may I-
about
May I
physics,
finish the
yes.
question?
Sure,
I understand that you're getting irritated because you're looking at.
I'm
what
looking
you're
at it,
seeing.
absolutely.
But for what I see in the short time that I've been here, the city, the county, and the San Jones River Department demanded
Yes,
that this HOA.
yes, they
Do
did,
that.
they did, they sure did.
So, you are condemning the board, maybe you should condemn the city and fight them.
Well,
Because we don't have a choice.
you know, when I
Anybody-
was on the board, I actually wanted the board to do it, but guess what? The other,
Have you
what
ever heard of fighting City Hall?
oh, so you're gonna lie down and spend $260,000? I'm not that type, I'm not made out of
I
money.
guarantee you're not.
Are you made out of money? Are you made out of money?
Sir, I'm telling you, you can't fight.
Are you
City
made out of
Hall
mon- let me-
and San Jones.
Oh, so you're not gonna fight at all? You're gonna lay back and let the
Hey!
city charge you?
Quiet.
We're having a conversation.
Well,
This
your
is a
time
meeting.
is up. So while I'm at it, almost every day the contractor has been there working, a city inspection truck has been sitting there watching.
Mhm.
So anything that's been done to this point has been approved by the city.
You
Otherwise, we
said,
would stop.
you said they don't have a permit, so what are they approving? What are they approving? What are they approving if you have no permit?
We are not
You're
required
so
to have
silly.
a permit, and Dean, your 3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
So, on to the next thing.
Mike, does this lady have a
I'm sorry, go ahead,
He
Doris.
answered that, that's why I said, he said we don't need the pipe, but if we don't need the pipe, how come the city said we had to have it?
Right.
Because the pipe was failed, Doris.
So that's my point. we do have to have.
But the pipe doesn't do
End of
anything.
story.
It's like,
And
End of story.
that's what you guys don't get. You like, you like throwing away money, and that's fine. I'm just telling people,
Well, your time is up. Your
Okay.
time now is to be silent,
Please.
please.
does that mean everybody only gets 3 minutes then?
That's generally the way it's supposed to
Okay,
work.
then I'd like to see a timer, time people.
Two.
You're gonna do it by the book, yeah. Grab out a timer, time everybody, because if you're gonna single me out, you better be doing it for everybody.
You.
I had a question. You said there might be a possibility of saving up to $42,000?
Something about that, I don't know.
Okay, right, an amount of money. If something else, we can't move something?
It's not a question of us moving something. The first time we had the locate service out, down towards the Krogan Road end of the job, they told us that the gas line was here, our outfall pipe was here, and that there was adequate room to dig the outfall pipe up.
Okay.
So we proceeded going that way because going east was the most difficult section because there's the most gas lines, water lines, sewer lines. When we had them several weeks ago come back out, and we were delayed starting about a month waiting for a narrow trench box, which you have to have when you're digging more than about medium against your weight. When we had to locate people back out a second time to go over the Krogan Road end, they said, oh, we goofed. The gas pipe is directly on top of your outfall pipe. If that's the case, there's nothing we can do with it because the gas company, we would have to move the gas line. The
Right.
gas company says they won't touch it.
Okay.
What does the city say about that?
To this
Then
point,
we don't have to replace it.
to this point, the city has said if that's the case, they probably are not going to require anything done on the west side.
So is it possible to not replace it even if the gas line's next to it and not on top? If the city's okay, I'm just wondering, would the city
The
concede on
way I
that?
understand it, and it's not been directly addressed, we haven't sat down and fought and scrambled over it like we did the rest of it.
We had,
At
the
this
gas
point,
pipe wasn't
the
all the way
city is
down.
saying,
Couldn't
If
have
that
ever done
gas line's on top of your pipe, sail it.
So it's too early to tell, but maybe we can ask them. Does that mean we could just skip it?
If the pipe is direct, the gas line is directly on top of our pipe, yes.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know.
Okay.
We
It
believe,
might just be worth asking.
there will be conversations, we're just not at that point yet.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
jump
no,
in. I
no.
just was trying to clarify.
It's kind of, yeah, it brings.
Does that answer your question, Dick?
Well, the second part was the fact that if this were to happen and we couldn't move and basically we're kind of locked and we can't do anything, because we can't move the lines to figure out the pipe, that would be a considerable amount of money to be saved. I would
It's
like-
something on the order of, my memory could be off a few bucks on this, could be off a couple of thousand. But I think the last number that I saw was $42,995.
So, I mean, a lot of money, thousands, we could say, tens of thousands even, I think we could say. Would that constitute another contract then?
I'm
Because
not
at
sure I
that point,
understand your question.
well, if we're going to that's a significant amount of work that's not going to be done. And that's,
It's a credit back.
It would be a change order with a credit.
yeah, it'd be an amendment, some kind of.
It would be a change order with a credit. It's called a change order.
Okay, so it would not change our contract at all?
No, it'd just be a change order added to the contract.
All right.
It's common in any construction business. If something changes, you have a change order.
All right.
It's either an open end or a closed end contract. It's either a price fixed or a cost plus. Which contract was this? Was this a
Fixed
fixed
price.
price? Then there isn't a change order, that would be a new contract, a fixed price to do a certain amount of
Your
work.
only
You can
requirement is to
de-scope it
submit
with
a
a
change
change
order.
order.
I've done
You
it.
can de-scope it and then give money back, but in order to go above the fixed price, you would have to come back and renegotiate.
Yes.
Yeah,
If
but
we're
they're
going
talking about,
higher,
this is
yes. If we're
reverse.
going down, no.
It's just a change order to de-scope.
But the de-scope, but we're not getting the same, we were supposed to get this, and now we're only gonna get this, so we should only pay this.
Yeah.
All right.
Right,
That's what
it'd be to our favor. And
No,
it wouldn't be a one-to-one, it would actually be more to the homeowners
I
itself.
understand, no, but the money was set aside to do drainage.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Because we only have this place until 8 o'clock, we're gonna have to move along a little bit. On the agenda, we've got Rebecca's shed. She's still waiting on,
Do you want to go ahead and do the since everyone else has seen the minutes, we can go ahead and vote that, at least get these two. We don't have November, but this is March and April.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a minute. So Rebecca hasn't gotten us a survey that's legible so that we can decide what to do with her situation. Because she wants to put a shed out back. So the next thing was
A what?
a shed. So the next thing was Dick wants to do a fence in his front yard.
Wait a minute, what was the, so Rebecca wants a shed, and she hasn't gotten back with info on what?
She needs to give us clearer property lines so that we can see if she has the space behind her house to do it.
Absolutely.
Her,
Then we would have to
her
vote on it.
I'm sorry?
report that she sent us is old, it's 2016.
Uh-huh.
It's small, it can't be blown up. When you blow it up to the point where you could read it, it's blurry. So we've asked her just to make that section.
Is this a
and make
shed
it
on
bigger.
an existing slab, or is it a shed on the ground?
She's gonna pour concrete and build this 6 by whatever shed.
Yeah, that's a.
That's probably gonna be a no, but at this
No, I'm
point,
just
we
saying
can't
that needs
see
some
it.
information, yeah.
Yeah, we have inaccurate
Okay,
information.
so that's tabled, then, correct,
That's
Mike?
tabled.
All right.
Table.
So regarding Dick's fence, from what I've seen, it's all on his property. I see no reason that he shouldn't be allowed to move forward with it. I believe you've seen it, Jim, if I'm not mistaken. I know you commented on it.
Yes, I commented on it. I commented that he's asking for something that I see in quite a few homes in the neighborhood already, so I didn't see a reason why it would be an issue.
And neither do I. So why don't we just vote on it?
Okay.
Or let's start this one. I move that we vote on approving Dick's fence. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, done. Dick, you're good.
Thank you. Can I get it in some kind of documentation, some kind of writing?
If you submit an ACR, we'll sign it.
All right.
It's
Okay,
already
So
been-
you got the copy of it in the email?
It's already been signed. I
Is
mean, it's
there-
already been submitted, and they have it at
So
the
I'll just have
TC.
Renee send it to me, I'll sign it, you're good.
All right.
Is there a restriction on mailboxes?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, can like I get not a dragon, but like a dolphin or
A manatee?
like a manatee or something? No,
The
seriously.
post office tells you how high, what size, and whatever the directions are. That's
Is
all
that what we have
federal,
to
they
do?
have to tell you.
If you
Okay.
can get the post office to agree to it, odds are we're
Oh,
going
you
to
have to
approve.
get the post office to agree?
It's their-
Seriously?
You pay for it, they own it, is the way that works.
Seriously?
That's the way that works.
I see people all over the
I don't know
city.
how they got their permission.
But
One
this-
other thing I must say, Andy Rive, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name,
I don't even know who you're
on
talking about.
Teakwood. Jim, do you know them? Andy? I think they're on your street.
The
They
ones
come
at
up
the
and
other end of
clean.
the street on the opposite side in the corner,
Yeah, right,
by the south swale.
yeah. They
Andy
come
and
up and
Jane.
clean our board all the time, and I think we should acknowledge that in writing.
What board?
Our Cedar Run board, that's always
You mean the
dirty
rotten
and,
bulletin board?
no, not the bulletin board.
sign.
Our
The
entrance
sign.
board.
Ah.
Cedar Run board,
Sign.
The sign.
I'm sorry, the sign, excuse me,
Can I make a
Thank you.
suggestion, Charlotte?
yes.
Why don't you write the letter and bring it to the next meeting, and we'll review it and approve it if we can.
I'll send them a thank you card.
That'll be great.
Feel great.
That'd be nice.
That would be
That'd be
wonderful.
beautiful.
I already thanked
didn't know
them,
they
and
were
I said I
doing
wish
this,
I were
right?
there, but
I've noticed
I'm
it
the
too.
old, yeah,
Yeah.
I did notice.
That's a nice thing.
Okay.
I'll send them a thank you
That
card.
takes
It's on the
care of-
board.
That takes care of most of the old business.
Well, there's still, Jerry, something about a house and something about windows here.
Jerry Box is gonna paint his house. Your neighbor Mike replaced his windows. They were approved. They're done. No need to discuss it. So,
Jerry painted his house the exact same colors he was,
Yeah, but so,
so he just upgraded it.
we just approved Richard's fence, but all these other things were approved. How is that happening, that we had one in the meeting?
one thing is a major change.
Okay,
The
but
others
it's still
are-
a change.
The others are minor
Changes though.
changes.
Right,
They're
so-
done, they're approved, it's taken care of.
But
So-
do we have an architectural review committee?
We don't, and at this time, we're tabling the suggestion.
Really? So we
Yeah.
can't have a,
Jim, we have until 8 o'clock to get out of here.
right, but we can't form the committee in the 2 minutes that it would take with
We
a board
don't
member
have
and 2
the time
homeowners?
right at this time.
According to the bylaws, we don't need one. According to the bylaws, it could be the board or a committee. And the committee
So,
says.
Jim, we're moving on.
That's not-
I'm gonna motion that we approve the minutes from the last two meetings. Do I have a second?
What minutes?
All in favor?
Aye. What
Motion
about the
passed.
minutes from the November meeting?
There are no November minutes at this point in time.
Okay.
A small novel was submitted as minutes, and we're relying on the management company to edit that down.
Right,
I think
okay.
it was about this thing.
It was 3 pages of my notes. You
That's
asked
the
me,
one I got.
she asked me for my notes. Mike, please don't become upset with me. You're visibly upset right now. I'm asking some
Everything
simple
doesn't need to be
questions.
dragged out. We need to.
I'm not dragging it out, but I asked the question, Mike.
Okay, and I'm telling you, we have this room until 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir, I heard you.
We have lots of things to do.
I heard you, sir.
Okay, then let's move along.
He's just asking it for it to be uniform, because if you don't do it uniformly,
That's
then
all.
it looks
You know,
like
the
you're
question
being
is,
prejudicial.
Right now, Richard would like to be on the committee, and it says a board member and a couple homeowners. I'm sure that the 3 of us could be the committee right now, and it would be done, the conversation
Right
would be
now, we don't
over.
need a committee. The bylaws allow us, as a board member, to handle it, or to have a committee.
Right,
Then-
then stop making the decisions during the month with the painting and the windows. If you're going to treat Richard one way, treat
Richard's
every...
thing was a little bit different.
It's the same, he changed his house, they need
He
the request.
added fence.
Wait, well, but he changed the
That's what he wants
windows.
to do.
Windows
Mike,
is
you had
significant.
two
They're only
homeowners
just
on your street
upgrading
that you gave
things.
approval
It's
to
still,
put
you're
fence up
upgrading
without
windows. You're
the
saying
committee
windows are okay,
anything.
then we can change windows?
They
Absolutely, Jim,
created
it's
their
absolutely
ARC
not
form,
true.
it
I
was
called
submitted,
the
it did not
code
need to be
enforcement
voted
to
on
have
because
them
it was
come
something
out
they
and
already
make them
had.
pull a permit.
Ah.
This is something
well aware of
new,
that,
he's wanting
but
to
I did not
add.
work
Interesting.
So we
So-
have to vote.
So I'm just saying,
Okay.
Mike, you have to treat everyone the same, please. No more decisions about painting or anything, it's the same. We do it as a group, or you allow a committee. Please, be democratic about this, please.
Jim, I hate the word democratic.
I'm sorry.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
gonna be democratic.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't require a committee.
Fascism is what he
or
likes.
a board. One member can
I'm a
approve.
fascist.
Then, no, one member cannot. Please read your bylaws. You are so wrong about this,
Okay,
please.
well, maybe I am, but for the moment.
No, don't say you are, so you step forward, you step out of it, you step away from it. Mike, please, follow the bylaws, please. We meet and we discuss everyone's, we have 2 months to do it. Please, stop giving people permission to do things that they,
Jim, I'm not gonna promise
please.
you that.
You have to, Mike, you're the president.
We're
Do you
gonna worry
see what
about
you're
that.
getting here?
Committee.
We're
He's
gonna worry
gonna
about
do what he
that.
wants.
On to the next thing.
Silence.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with it.
Are you trying to bully me?
Silence.
No.
And let them do what they gotta do.
He's on the board. He's on the board.
I'm a board member, I'm asking questions.
Right,
But you know, that's bullying somebody. Do
That's
you
not
know that?
bullying.
Yes, it is, you're trying to intimidate
Jim?
me.
All he's asking for it to be uniform for all
Just asking
homeowners.
everyone
He
to
can't pick and
do
choose
the
who he
same.
decides is going to say out to cart. You can do whatever you want, and then the next guy next door says, no, you can't do that.
I'm done.
I mean, the board meeting needs to have a meeting before the regular meeting.
Do you understand, I'm just looking for you
What I
to
want is to be able to move on to the next thing.
Okay, Mike, and I'm just looking for some
We're not
unity.
changing anything.
Please. That's all. Go ahead.
So, we have 2 board vacancies at the moment. Denise has resigned and Amanda has resigned. I'm gonna recommend, my suggestion is that we appoint Nick and Tino to replace those.
I'd like to make a suggestion, I'd like to, Richard would make an excellent board member.
We've already asked, he's agreed to do it.
Is it
Oh my
okay that
gosh.
I make the suggestion?
Sure, then we're gonna just vote on it.
Sure, no problem, I just asked, but this was on the agenda.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move that we vote on which of the 3. to-
Absolutely. Mike, go ahead and do
We
it,
have
because
lots of people.
it's just, again, no inputs from the board members. You made this decision to bring, I just made a
No, they
suggestion.
just volunteered.
Amanda was your suggestion. This gentleman, last board member, was your suggestion. These 2 gentlemen are your
These
suggestions.
2 people volunteered. So we're-
And Richard has volunteered on several occasions.
Okay, so we're gonna vote.
Sure.
Okay?
How many spots do we have?
We have 2 spots available currently. We have Amanda's and Denise's. So I motion that we vote for 2 out of the 3, and
How are we gonna do that?
Sounds like the boys American Idol. Stevie,
Well, let's do it this way.
Richard, are you interested in being a board member? I know we spoke about it.
Oh, yeah, and honestly, I would love to be part of it.
I'm just saying that I'm trying to be his
Whatever I
voice.
can do.
Okay, then let's
That's
do
all
it
I'm
this way.
trying to do, is be a voice of a member.
And can I ask a question, and this is, again, why would you want these board members, like what qualifications, what do they bring to the table? Why do these particular people meet your criteria to be on the board? Are they just followers of you, or do they actually bring something to the table? That's all I'm asking, because as a homeowner, I want some good representation, because you keep telling me I'm not an engineer, so do we have any other engineers that might be
Come out of my
around?
mouth, but let me just move forward. Nick's a cop, okay? He's got
Okay, he's a
different
cop.
skills than you, he's got different skills.
So
than
that
us.
is very helpful in law and order in the community, but that doesn't help with
So
piping.
on to the next thing.
I have 5 years, 6 years under threshold engineering. I have 5 years in percolation, in architectural and structural.
That's good, then I'd like to have you on the board.
very good.
Yes, now
And he
that
lives in
is
the
awesome.
subdivision.
And he lives in the subdivision, yes. So,
All of them.
Well, the past president doesn't live in our subdivision, she doesn't even own a house in the subdivision. Yeah, so you put this blanket statement because I don't live in the subdivision, your president and your board member doesn't live there, but you guys don't realize
You were
that.
on the board, you didn't live in the neighborhood.
Oh, I understand, but see, the criteria that is held for me is not held for the past presidents.
Dean, your 3 minutes is up.
No, it's not, because you never time me.
45 minutes.
You never time me.
Here's what we're gonna do. Anybody on the board want Dick Derby on? So we got
Been
two.
here for a couple of years now, been in the military 18 years now, I live and die by regulations.
So we have 2 votes for Dick
Yeah.
on the board.
Tino,
Yes, sir.
how many do we have for Tino?
I vote for you.
All right, he's
How many did you get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I can't
7.
vote twice. Why?
Yes,
she did. I take that back.
He got 6.
6, okay.
All right, Nick the cop. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, Dick, better luck next time. We're gonna put these two.
We're
the
gonna
board
keep you
together.
on the list.
Yeah, with all likelihood, there will be more vacancies.
Okay.
I would like the names and addresses of all the board members. If you want me to request it through the management company, I will, but I was asking you guys, since we're having a board,
You have mine.
I want the new board and the new home addresses and whoever's on the board at this moment.
You have mine as well.
Well, you can send, it's not hard, you just make a new one. My gosh, you guys make it so
Got it,
difficult.
we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
So we've got that out of the way, we've got the fence out of the way. Carrie, why don't you address the poll?
Okay. I've always been blessed with the pool, as we all know. But we got a letter from our Planet Pool guy, and he tells us that the price of chemicals has gone up. And unfortunately, he was charging us $3.50 a month. We all knew that. He wants to raise it $30 a month. Now, I know you guys are going to ask me, did I do my good due diligence? And I'm going to say yes, because I started making phone calls because I didn't know if that was a good price or not.
But you
$3.70 a month. So I called Aqua Right. They wanted $600 a month to take care of our pool. I called Water's Edge, talked to a guy named Mike, and he gave me a nice report, and he was $548 a month. And I called Honest Pools, they did not respond to me yet, and I called John Hammerhead Pool Service. These are all Melbourne addresses, that's why I used them. John didn't respond to me yet, but he knew that I had the meeting tonight, and he apologized he couldn't get it to me, but he said if I really needed it, he would give it to me for next month. So, I do know we have 40,000 gallons, and with the 370, we're well under anybody else's bid that we've gotten. So I want permission or a vote
Tom's been
so
doing
that we
that for
can
25
raise
years,
the
20,
30.
25 years.
Huh?
He's been doing this on
Yeah, the
over
same
25
price, and
years.
he's never
And
raised
he's a
it.
great guy.
He does a
too.
good
Yes,
job.
so he's asking for $30 more a month.
Yeah. that's
Give
good
it to
I
price.
see no objection.
So should we have a vote?
Yeah.
I go ahead and make a motion to,
I second it.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
I entertain
So
the
we'll go
comment.
ahead, his fees
Good.
adjusted, the management service will have to know that.
Okay.
So that's been addressed. Do you want to tell them about the new on your street?
Oh, we have a new homeowner on my street. Her name is Chris. Super nice lady, German. You see her walking around with her
Yellow lab.
yellow lab. If you see her, say hi. She just closed on her
What's her
house last
name?
week.
What is her name?
Chris.
Chris, thank you.
And
Really, really nice lady.
What's her dog's name?
she told me once, but I don't recall.
Shame on you.
Yeah. she
I'm
wanted me
usually
to.
very good at dogs.
Yes.
For what it's worth, while we're on the subject of dogs, there have been several coyote sightings lately.
Some what?
Coyotes.
Oh,
One woman said she was going out to walk her dog and there was a coyote in her front yard.
in our development?
Yes. So for what it's worth, please pay attention. Coyotes aren't that big, but they are wild animals. I know I saw a video not very long ago where up in Suntree, there was a home security camera. Their cat was sleeping in a chair in the backyard. Coyote walked up, got the cat and took off.
Oh, shit.
Mike, there's a reason why we're having a coyote problem.
Yeah.
But it's a park.
Not only that,
And people feeding
And
squirrels.
people
Yes.
eating, there's peanuts all over the neighborhood.
They're what?
that will attract coyotes.
They
What?
eat squirrels and people are feeding the squirrels that are getting
Oh.
multiple
Unfortunately,
times a day, so that will attract them to come over
And they
from
climb
from
on
the
a
park.
house, and they all the time.
The
Okay.
squirrels are eating
Well,
peanuts,
I had a
the
problem.
coyotes
Two
eat the
trying to make a
squirrels,
nest
yeah.
under
Food
my
chase.
car.
And you will get rats from.
I had two trying to make a nest under the hood of my car. I,
I am a pesticide control.
Stop. That's dumb.
that problem
Hey,
was
at least
solved.
he used what
Okay, trees.
Coyotes,
Trees.
they're
Jim,
nocturnal,
didn't you
nighttime.
recently talk to somebody that was doing some work next to my house?
I
Yesterday?
asked for his business card.
Did you get it?
Yes, I did.
He seemed to have all the equipment.
He had about $1.5 million worth of equipment on the street.
Very
yesterday.
professional, I was watching.
Yeah.
And as I understand it, I talked to the lady who lives next to me. Her name is, I forgot now, brain's on pause. It's been a long day, guys. I've been up since about 4 a.m. Anyway, I talked to her and she said out of all the prices that she got on trees, she said he was the cheapest and he was the most well-respected, and there were several different people that she knew that used him, including several different communities that used him. So, Jim, if you would share that with
Sure.
whoever,
He's
TBC and
he's
things
very
like that.
professional. He's an arborist, so he knows about trees and stuff. I don't know what he was doing there. I asked him about my situation, and several other homeowners came up and spoke with him too. There was a letter that we received through the month from a homeowner about a tree growing over their property.
Which we actually looked at with her the other day. It's a couple of little tree limbs that don't appear to be over the house. They're
And
near the house.
she's concerned about it, I understand.
I'm sorry?
She's concerned about it.
Sure. I've asked Scott from Fox Landscaping,
Okay.
who's in the past trimmed a few for us, if he would look at it, and he'll let me know next week. what he
And
knows.
I was also referring to the one where the tree was uprooting the woman's driveway, and I called the city of Melbourne, and they're supposed to take care of that.
Yeah, as I understand it, it's between the street and the sidewalk.
Yeah, but I spoke with the city of Melbourne, she called me back, and they said that they would take care of that.
Good.
Wonderful.
So that's all out of the way.
Next meeting.
Anybody got anything they, go ahead, Gabby.
We have these posts for poop bags, which we're no longer buying. Can we sell them? And
They're-
buy chairs for the pool or whatever?
They're not worth anything.
Well, some community can probably use
Why
them.
don't we donate them to Wickham Park?
I think there's only 2.
No,
Yeah,
there's like 4 of them.
There were 4 or 5, but I think some of them were damaged when they took them out.
From the,
If
Because
someone
they-
would like to take charge of
Either
that,
take them out or sell them.
if someone would like to take charge of that, offer them to Wickham Park, sell them on someplace. I don't-
You brought it up, would you like to do that?
No,
Okay,
They're just, you know, they're
It was
standing
a-
out there, they're
it
not
was a
being
great
used.
idea.
Go ahead, Doris.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have extra money left over.
Possibly.
Maybe, yeah, possibly. Maybe you could finish the furniture at the pool area?
Okay, that's tricky.
The money was earmarked for drainage and stormwater, and I do believe that's the only thing that it can be used for, and reserved for drainage, stormwater,
how many more years?
It would
we
go
have
back to
pay?
the, it would go back to the
At
homeowners,
this point,
and then there would be another vote for
Two and a
whatever
half?
they wanted to do.
approximately
Two and a half more years we have to pay?
Approximately. However, if we, by the grace of God.
Unless I win the lottery, then I'll pay for it all.
He's got to be pretty afraid of Miss Charlotte, be careful.
I won't do that.
If by the grace of God, we do get out of this and save 42, 43,000, whatever the actual number is, that would enable us to pay off the loan 1 year ahead of schedule.
Oh, that's great. That's-
So that,
And that would stop the monthly debt breakdown.
that's
we'd
great.
have
once we pay the loan off, then we can go back down to the old rate, the more we could. I said we could. There-
And just to think about to vote that and not collect it and put it in a reserve, if you do that, and this is just a small portion, that anyone who has sold their property since this assessment started in here and had to pay that full assessment, you would have to give them back their money too. It's not just the people here, but it's every, see, these are things that you would have to think about.
Yeah, nobody was allowed to do that.
No, that's what I'm saying, that if I wanted to sell my house now, I'd have to pay the whole assessment till the end in order to get out. That's what the apostata would show, that I have a lien in place on my property for this amount of money.
so.
There's no lien.
No, theoretically, there's a lien, I'm on the hook for that money. Everyone in here is on the
Only
hook.
the person who owns the house at the time
Correct.
the month is due.
Absolutely, but what I'm
So if
saying,
you don't own it in June, July,
if I sell my
you don't
house
own
today, I have to pay for the rent. No, I have to, that assessment was put on in,
the assessment is
Now,
part of your
I know
monthly
for a
fee.
fact that Larry Wilson on my street just recently sold his house, and he didn't give the new owner any money. The new owner just took over payments from the time he got back.
really, so
I did the same thing.
some of these that you're assuming a debt from a previous one, I thought that's what
It's
it's.
not, it's not a debt, it's an assessment.
Okay, I thought,
This is not the first place I buy with HOA, I've got another one, costs a lot
Okay.
more than this, it's a lot less than
All right.
this. And an assessment, in fact, it is your responsibility to find out if the property has any
that's what a
assessment prior
title
to buying.
search would do.
And you assume that assessment.
Right, that's what a title search would do.
That's correct.
Which any lender is going to require you to.
Yeah, but who would buy a property with money owed on it, just to say, okay, all right.
I got a mistake, let me tell you how I find out, now, I can tell you, I bought a condominium,
Okay.
and this lady bought it, and it's a condominium, it's attached to a bunch of apartments. So I figure what is there to search for?
Yep.
I went to the courthouse, I asked if there was any liens, the courthouse says, no. Well, it turns out there was. And when I went to sell it, when I found out.
Okay.
And it was $7,000 taken out of my profit.
All right, sorry.
Okay. so
That's the joys of HOAs and COAs.
Okay, so the next meeting, as always, is the fourth Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. In this case, it's June 23rd. That way it's done. While I'm thinking about it, what we want to consider in order to properly notice for the meetings, the signboard that we have was spray painted and stenciled, so I can't move letters around. That's why some of y'all probably saw a little white piece of paper that said board on it.
Right.
It's not centered up, it's not pretty. Quite honestly, it's worked for us for the last 3 years at least. I don't personally see any reason to have to replace it, but I know some people are offended by it or don't like the way it's worded. So if that's what we need to do, Staples sells, or I know you've seen them, and Lynn, I know you've seen them, the signboards with removable letters so that you can move them
Right.
around.
We had a sign in the shed for, I don't know if it's still there or not.
I don't recall ever having seen it,
Yeah,
but I
but
can
there's,
look when I get the
Yeah, I
changed.
don't know if it's still there or
But
not.
that's why the sign is.
It's a heavy one.
That's why the sign is the way it is. Barbara had it done. She paid for it. She didn't ask for reimbursement.
Is she off the board?
Yeah, she quit
Long time
several
ago.
months back.
Okay.
People think about it. If they think we need to replace the sign, then we can talk about it next month, and you let me know, and we'll take appropriate action. But I wanted to get that out of the way. At this point, I'm gonna say, motion to adjourn, and do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
That's 5, that's good, we're done.
Anybody want to talk